This is Rooted Cosmic Soul, sacrificing the patriarchy from a broom closet in the here and the there, offering rememberings in times of chaos, confusion, love, and a few years into doing work with folks around cultivating intersectional leadership and this idea of transmuting white supremacy and patriarchy, I realized that one of the things that could help someone transmute and necessary to transmuting the energy of power over patriarchy, white supremacy, anti-blackness, all the phobias and isms that have been forced upon us. One of the ways to transmute that is to get really clear on what your North Star is, what your purpose is. But it's kind of chicken and the egg. There's no one comes before the other. It's very spirally, the process of doing healing. The more healing I do, the clearer that North Star or purpose, understanding of my purpose, my soul's path becomes. Along my path of embodying the journey and the process I was offering to my clients, I realized that for me, knowing that North Star was really important. And for me, that North Star became doing less harm in the world. And as my healing progressed and I got really clear of what parts of my shadows needed to be called in, that I needed to develop a relationship with because they were hindering me from growing, it was an extension of doing less harm to myself and to others in that order. Now, for me, the nature of my healing, my trauma, was that I needed that because much of my trauma caused me to create a pattern in which I took care of everybody else before I took care of me. Part of that is definitely patriarchy, gender-based. There's a deep patriarchal stream through both sides of my family that women are here to take care of their men. So part of me to unlearn really deep-seated behaviors, even as a lesbian, like I knew I was a lesbian at a fairly young age. It was still ingrained in me to take care of others before I took care of myself. So for me, this idea of doing less harm to myself and to others in that order became part of my healing process and journey. It's one of those ideas, tools, concepts that helped me in my awakening, in my ascension to a more expanded self, a self that is closer to the authentic path, the path that my soul put me on so that I could find my authentic self. In talking to a friend recently, I realized that my healing process has gotten to a point where that idea of doing less harm to self and others is further crystallized for me in terms of sometimes we are going to put others before us, but if I go a layer deeper, it is because to not put that energy or that being before me is harmful to me. So I think about Onyx. Onyx is my canine companion and my best friend. And I do hold a deep responsibility to care for her in ways that she can't care for herself. And so are there instances in which I am going to do less harm to Onyx before I do less harm to myself? Sure, yes. Because in the long run, to do less harm to Onyx is to do less harm to me. And I think the thing to consider as we are on this healing journey and the understanding of our definitions, our beliefs, our behaviors, our motivations for how we're moving in the world is to think about it in terms of what's the perspective leading me to what is harmful and what is not. And is that perspective based on a clarity of knowing? or assumptions. And I want it to be based in love and abundance and not fear and scarcity. So it's not necessarily about who comes first or second. It is about me doing the work to have a clear understanding of the motivations, of the beliefs, the definitions that are creating the behavior of that action. And in that, remembering to be in the divine feminine of exploration and contemplation before anything else, to go inward, to slow down enough to like really feel into what is occurring right now. What is my intuition telling me? What is my instincts telling me? What are my feelings and my emotions telling me? And to explore that before engaging in my divine masculine of action and engagement, so that I'm moving from inspired action and not reactive fear. So I don't know if that makes sense to folks, but like that is something that you might have to listen to this a second, third, fourth time, because for me it was, don't feel bad if you have to listen to it again, because this is something I'm sharing with you years into a very intentional healing journey, and trying to offer you sort of a forest for the trees kind of look into what a healing process could look like. It's spiral, like where one starts, one doesn't stay. And that when, one idea, tool, and concept may work at one point, doesn't necessarily mean it will always work. And in my experience, what I'm starting to see really clearly these days is that it's not that it doesn't work anymore, but they expand, right? They expand to meet me where I am so that I continue to expand. I continue to grow and don't get stagnant or stuck in an idea that once worked. And it's almost like it's in this linear fashion that we only go forward. Like it really is a spiral. The healing journey really is this like moving through, think of it as like a constellation, your favorite constellation, and the stars twinkling. They don't necessarily always twinkle in the exact same order. You know, I mean, maybe they do. I actually don't know stars, but I don't believe our eyes are going to catch them that way. It's like they just, wherever your eyes go, they're going to twinkle, right? And sometimes you're going to see the same star 3 times twinkling, and then your eyesight is caught from another star at the tail end of it, or what have you, right? That kind of spiral formation of the healing journey, I think, is what is, at least it's what I'm experiencing, and it helps me remember that taking time to really be in this contemplation, to be in the self-inquiry, to keep checking back in with that question of what works and what doesn't work for me, to keep me growing, to keep me expanding. I just had this visual of the breath when you breathe in and your body expands, and then you breathe out and your body contracts. And it's just this really beautiful process, right? All your breaths aren't exactly the same, and that's okay. This is Rooted Cosmic Soul, sacrificing the patriarchy from a broom closet. The energy here stays here. The energy there stays there. I'll sense you later. Return when moved to do so. Same Bruja time, same Bruja channel.